Hello.
Да, Леонид, здравствуйте.
Добрый
Здесь пока
день.
только мы с вами.
Добрый день.
Здрасте.
Очень приятно. Что у нас сейчас предполагается? Введение в техническую часть, то есть объяснить, в чем задача будет состоять.
Леонид, смотрите, мне кажется, что у нас должно быть есть несколько целей. Первое, просто элементарно познакомиться друг с другом, да, просто понять, кто здесь кто.
Мгм.
И я не знаю, как вы, но у меня лично очень мало информации и в целом очень мало понимания того, что к чему, потому что все как-то несколько на коленке, насколько я понимаю, в последний
Нет,
день.
никоим образом. А,
Нет?
Нет, нет, нет.
Ну,
У меня-то понимание есть очень хорошее, потому что этот план именно я и составлял.
ну все, тогда и просто вы берите себе уверенно слово там после каких-то коротеньких там самопрезентаций, там give a floor to you, да, что
Окей,
называется.
окей.
И я бы просто с удовольствием слушал и вникал вместе с ребятами, потому что, насколько я понимаю, моя роль, скорее просто технически организаторская, чтобы
Окей.
все вовремя подключились, не опоздали, если у кого-то есть какие-то трудности, вот я их помог решить, а менторская, наставническая
Мгм.
и вот кураторская командная, это вот на вас.
Окей, так, очень хорошо. Вы знаете, у меня к вам потом будут вопросы, связанные с технической организацией. Скажите, пожалуйста, вы какой, maybe we can switch into English, no, well, I don't know. Uh,
Let's switch, I
okay,
think.
okay. We are talking about some technical details first, and then we'll officially announce the start a few more minutes. So
Hello.
could you please, yes, hello everyone, hello everyone. Yes, Alexander, could you please introduce yourself and tell about your position about your position within our team, because there might be a lot of technical things which we'll need to direct to you with regards to the recording. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay, thank you very much. Now I need 1 minute. I want to share you my probably screen. Yes. Okay. This. Leonid, Zoom is telling me that you
Oh, you are right. You are right. You are
as
right.
an
Yes, you
organizer.
can do it now. Yes.
Okay, this is my keynote, and uh, can you see this?
Absolutely. Yes. Everything is fine.
Okay, then I will start. My name is Alexander Bertov, and I am 25 years old. And I would say that I am a scholar because I have graduated from the Higher School of Economics. This is a national research university in Russia, and I am studying political science and economics. And I have also received my master degree at European University at St. Petersburg. And what is probably more relevant for us is that I have something like a program, 6-month program, which was dedicated to commercialization of innovations, which were organized by University of Mechanics and Optics and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. And I am a teacher. I am probably, I would say, the tutor. My role in our team will be to organize some mechanic processes. Yes, everybody to connect in time. You can please do not hesitate to ask me any questions, and if I will able to answer them, I will happy to answer. Yes. So I'm not very useful member of our team. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. So I should probably introduce myself as well. My name is Leonid Merkin. I'm a professor of financial mathematics at the University of Sirius and the University of Innopolis in the Russian Federation. Uh, for many years have been in financial industry, in the investment banking, now more in academia. Uh, at the same time, working in areas such as verified real-time systems and high dependability blockchain solutions, which is definitely relevant to modern day quantitative finance. So I would position myself as both actually mathematician, quantitative financial analyst, computer scientist, and yet still very much hands-on software engineer up to now. So that's why we have selected this topic related to fintech industry in our team 8. So we're going to build a solution which is, by the way, it is not a toy example. It is not something which is just for competition only or something like that. It is a very, very much real life, realistic application seriously required and needed by the financial industry. So the financial industry is building applications like that and trying to outperform, each institution is trying to outperform others in terms of, let's say, quality, performance, the analytics behind solutions of the type we are going to implement. So it is all very much serious, exciting, relevant, timely, to the point. That's what we are going to do. Regarding what it is all about, the technology, the mathematics behind this, there will be a special talk by myself. Either today we'll decide or later, it may be actually now we'll decide. But for the moment, I would probably ask everyone to introduce themselves, to talk about their experience, and well, we are getting acquainted that way.
Okay. Uh, this is Rakesh. I'm taking this opportunity to introduce myself. Unfortunately, I'm not able to switch on the camera. I'm trying, mm, but let me know if you are able to see me.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
we can see you.
Okay. So this is Rakesh, and I'm currently working as a software engineer in CGI. I got this opportunity from CGI CSR. So as a company, it is also participating in this AIM mission. So that is how I was nominated. Coming to my previous experiences, I also worked as a trainer in Lovely Professional University, one of the topmost university in India. I used to train and mentor BTech students, a Bachelor of Technology in various fields like electronics and communications and computer science. So my kind of past experience brought me to mentoring activities to CGI CSR. So that is how I was nominated, and I also have a relevant experience of working in Python. So right now I'm working in Tableau team, managing Tableau server for CGI marketing team. I also have an experience managing the data on SQL Server and SQL Server technology. And also coming to my uh, technical experience with also the relevance to the project right now I'm involved in AIM is I also worked on LinkedIn connectors, API, LinkedIn API connectors, where I'm able to pull the data from the LinkedIn API and try to see some data analytics on those on the data I fetched. So maybe they felt this is kind of relevant experience. That is the reason why they involved me here. Thinking, uh, yeah, that is all about my current and previous experience.
Okay, great. Thanks. Very relevant indeed. Thank you very much. Yes, let's roll on. Yes, please. Who would be the next?
मैं सर, दिस इज
Okay,
आदित्य
uh,
कवलाकर.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah. So a very good evening to everybody. I'm Aditya Kamlanekar from Baroda, Gujarat, and I'm basically a physics educator, teaching physics in the class 11th and 12th, means high school physics. And I am associated with the Atal Tinkering Laboratories. It's basically the initiative of Atal Innovation Mission, and I'm mentoring students. I have around 600 students in my school. Those who are working in daily routine, they are working in the Atal Tinkering Labs. My profile is basically to not only to teach physics at the high school level, but also to mentor the students for the different innovation projects. My So many students have participated in the Tinker Marathons, and since last 2 years, we have been shortlisted for this particular program. Last year, also, one of the students had participated in AIM-Sirius collaboration program. But last year, unfortunately, I could not apply for it. But this year, I had applied, and I've been selected as a mentor. My this thing interest is because I have a very diverse profile. I have worked in a social media organization, and I help them to identify the problems in the society. uh, what are the problems there around you. I even help them to identify the ways through which they can find a solution. Of course, I am not the technical expert, but I basically show them the path. I have so many contacts, so that I help the students by giving them the context that this is from where you will get the solution. And I help them in the problem solving strategies, how to build up the problem solving strategies, from where you can supposed to get the solution, to whom you should supposed to contact for a certain specific kind of the things, because children, those who are studying in the school, so they don't know, for certain purpose to whom they should supposed to contact. So they always come to me and they ask me, sir, to whom we should supposed to ask this. So I basically guide them that you will get the solution from here. If required, we sometimes I have a certain context of the industry also. So I take the help from, I arrange the help from the industry, and I try to help them, help the students to make their prototypes. And this is all the stuffs that I'm working around. And I think because of this, and I am working with the youth of my country basically. And that's why I think I have been shortlisted for this program. And I hope I'm definitely going to have an excellent experience with all of you. And thanks a lot, sir.
Wonderful. Thank you very
Thank
much. Thanks a lot. Yes.
thank you. And sorry, and I think that it is great that we have both technical support, yes,
Yes, exactly.
mentor skills, professional skills are technical skills, and you
Right.
as a probably manager or team lead for our team, and I think it's great. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Thank you. So let's go on. Yes, who would be the next, please?
Okay, hello everyone.
Oh,
My name is Amir and I'm from Moscow City. Now I'm studying International Moscow School Letova. And I know programming languages like Python and Swift. I like mathematics and informatics. And for example, I developed one app for iOS platform, and now I developing in our application for iOS. Maybe in 3 months I can show this app in an app store. And I participate in many Olympiads in mathematics and computers. I don't like mathematics and I like informatics, but not informatics like programming. I like mobile developing, and I'm the winner of the Republican stage of All Russian Olympiads of students. And I think this all. Yeah, shortly story about me.
great.
thanks. Great. Thank you. Okay. Who would be the next, please?
Well, I'm
Oh,
gonna say some words about myself. So my name is Daniel Sulyanov. I live in Tomsk, and I started to code a few years ago when we had our first IT lessons at school. So after the time, I really get into all this IT sphere, and I can't release something cool, but I try to code a Discord bot. I try to code some simple games like platformers or something like that. So I don't have much experience at different Olympiads, but I hope I'll give off of myself in this project. So, well, that's all about me.
Great, thank you. I would like, by the way, to mention that yes, actually both application development experience and let's say competitive program at Olympics, they are both equally good for the purposes of our development here. So one could be a competitive Olympics program, and that's very good. One could be not so much into competitions, but with development experience, and it is also good. Or indeed, you know, maybe someone would not be in either of them, but would still have a very big, I would say, interest, desire, motivation towards just learning and understanding and developing things like we're going to do. And this is equally great. So welcome to all our participants. It's perfectly okay. Everyone who has been selected is definitely worthy for the task. And let's continue with our introductions.
Good evening, sir. My name is Sanchit Gupta and I am from Girls School in Firozpur. As it is a border area, we don't get much of our facilities, but my parents get me to a good environment where I got introduced with Atal Tinkering Labs, and with that, I come into tune with projects and got to solve many problems, and I gave solutions for that, and many of my solutions were selected. So I am very happy to tune in with ATL Labs. And one thing I want to say that if we want to create something impossible, then we have to cross the limits of the possibleness. Thank you, sir.
Great. Yes. Who will be the next, please?
I can be the next.
Yes. Okay. Great.
So the most time I spend solving Olympic problems, and but I also did some projects for myself and in project schools. For example, I coded desktop application that was a messenger uh, that was protected by encryption. Uh, Also, uh, I have been learning programming languages since sixth grade, and I will try my best to learn something new and do a great job. That's all.
Wonderful. So, anyone still missing?
Yeah, I'm left.
Yes, 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 please.
I'm Navgarg. I think I'm selected because I have made some projects using artificial intelligence. Basically, image classifier. What I did was I created an app which recognizes sign language and converts it into English using AI. I have made another project using artificial intelligence. It is basically a camera which is on roads to detect the number of cars and thus specify the speed limit which should be there to minimize the number of accidents. As in India, there are around 135 K accidents every year. Also, I am into competitive programming too. I know Python and C++ well.
Great, great, thank you. Okay, uh, that's all. Or we miss someone yet?
I suppose we have only one Indian student else. or no?
Yes, I think we have Suraj also here. Suraj,
Yes,
is there?
Suraj.
Mm,
Probably he is not with us.
maybe not sure. Uh, okay.
Okay,
Uh,
Hello,
Okay, we got.
I think
hello.
Suraj is
Am
great.
I
there.
audible?
Yes, Suraj
Yes,
is
yes,
here.
you are audible. Audible.
Yes. Good evening to all. I am Suraj Kumar, and I am from India, uh, living in Punjab, Ludhiana, and I am studying in 10th grade from Bharatiya Vidya Mandir School. I am very interested in creating new projects and learning new technologies. And just I always leveraging new ideas and problem solvings. And I have developed a project that help the manual scavengers protecting their lives in who are putting their lives at risk in cleaning the manholes in country like India. It's a very big problem. And so I have developed artificial intelligence based a robot which automatically cleans the manholes, and which makes the work easily or easier
Very good.
for the government officials as well. And for other projects, like I have also developed an app which helps the normal citizens in protecting ourselves and providing the better information, and to protect themselves. And I've also developed a mask which is a digital mask, when this mask is connecting with that app that I have developed. And these have some sensors, like sensors based, such as distance measuring sensors, that will help the user to maintain the social distancing, as well as this mask also detecting the temperature of the user's body and giving the data of their health, and giving the alerts of the COVID-19 intensity around him. So such like that, I have developed so many projects in helping the society and problem solving for for my country as well, and helping my country to grow more. Thank you.
Great.
Great, many thanks. So, what should we do next? We probably need some technical introduction into the subject,
Yes.
or we do some organizational introduction first. So, Alexander, maybe you have something to say about how the teamwork is going to be organized in the first place, so how it works all together.
To be honest, I really have not much information, so I will ask probably you to tell
Okay,
us
okay, let's
the
do.
best way.
Okay, let's do. I will cover both. Okay. We still need to make some technical decisions. So what I will probably do, I will start now with introduction into the subject. So to get everyone familiar with actually what after all we're going to do and how. Then I will send some technical information through our Telegram channel. Actually, I sent already some reference, but I would say that to some extent, extracting the technical information from publicly available sources is also part of the project. So when we are going to talk about, for example, protocols used in our communication with financial exchanges, that's what we are going to use, then I can probably send some references, but in general, the details of those protocols you can find yourselves in the technical sections of the corresponding exchanges, and this is actually part of the design phase for our project. So I think the technical introduction will consist of two parts. So first of all, I will explain how financial exchanges work in general and crypto financial exchanges in particular. And the second part will be, uh, it can be straight after the first one, it can be a separate if someone wants a break or indeed tomorrow, but it's better to do as much, I would say, of groundbreaking introduction as possible today so we can really start working. So let me explain what we are going to do. So I'm absolutely sure everyone has heard about cryptocurrencies. or more generally, digital financial assets, right? I'm absolutely sure, everyone. So the Bitcoin was the first one, Ethereum followed several years later. Now there are really many cryptocurrencies, or so-called coins. And in addition, there are digital financial assets, which are not really currencies, but which stand for other types of financial assets. So this is a little bit less important for us. What I will probably do, I will share my screen and you will see my whiteboard. So I will be using the whiteboard, okay? So we are primarily going to deal with two major cryptocurrencies, which are Bitcoin, and the symbol for this currency is BTC, very much like, let's say, USD is for US dollar. So Bitcoin is BTC. Alternatively, some financial exchanges use another symbol for Bitcoin, which is XBT. So don't get confused. These are just two both valid symbols. And the other one, so this is Bitcoin, as we know. And the other one is Ethereum. The symbol is ETH. I don't remember if there's an alternative one, we'll find out. Two most widely used, most liquid cryptocurrencies. So cryptocurrencies are traded at what is called crypto exchanges. In general, obviously the notion of a financial exchange is absolutely nothing new. You know that there are many financial exchanges in the world. The most widely known Indian, for example, financial exchange, no doubt you have heard about it. It is called, correct me if I'm wrong, NSE, which is National Securities Exchange, correct? Our colleagues from India, have you heard about that?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. I'm not sure if it is now number one because there are some others, but it is very liquid and very well known. At some point, in some classes of financial instruments, it was really world number one. For example, when we're
Yes.
talking about so-called financial derivatives, it used to be, or maybe it is still is, it is all in flux, but it is definitely one of the leaders in the financial world. Correct?
Yes, we have one more, that is BSE, Bombay Stock Exchange, but most of the companies are listed in NSE,
Great.
National Stock Exchange.
Great. So NSE not only just listing company shares, but also trading lots of derivatives, which are futures, options, and other financial derivatives. We are not going to talk about them. These are relatively sophisticated financial instruments. We are primarily in cryptocurrencies for our project, but obviously it is very important to know about this great exchange, NSE. The largest
Yes.
financial exchange in Russia is called MOEX, which simply stands for Moscow Exchange, which was actually uh, incorporated in its current form in 2011 after a merger of two other exchanges, which are still subdivisions of MOEX. One of them is called MySex, which is primarily a currency exchange. So, for example, currency pairs like USD ruble, Russian ruble, and Euro, Russian ruble, are traded at this exchange. Also, equities are traded, and the other section of this exchange, which is called Forex, is primarily again for those advanced financial contracts, which are futures and options.
Okay.
So these are flagship Indian and Russian financial exchanges. In the world, generally, everyone have heard about New York Stock Exchange. I am absolutely
Yes.
sure, which is called, abbreviation is NYSE. NASDAQ, I'm just mentioning some very well-known one. Um, Obviously, Chicago Mercantile Exchange, CME,
Mhm.
Chicago Board of Trade, CBOT. What else? There is another very well-known American exchange which is called BUTS. There are exchanges obviously all over the world. For example, LSE is not only London School of Economics but also London Stock Exchange.
Okay.
There is a very well-known European exchange, several of them, but the best well-known is Eurex. In Asia Pacific, apart from Indian exchanges, well, it is not exactly Pacific, there are obviously several highly liquid exchanges in China, Japan, Hong Kong, and so on. So this list can be extended into many, many, many exchanges. So these are financial exchanges. Yes. Um, okay. So apart from that, so what is typically traded at financial exchanges? Originally, at financial exchanges, we would be trading stocks or shares or equities. This is the same thing, actually. Equities, that's the first asset class, historically the first one. Equities, which are also called, it is nearly same, actually, stocks or shares of public companies. But then other asset classes came into existence. The second very important asset class is called currencies. Everyone is aware of that, right?
Yes.
And indeed, interestingly enough, currencies are typically traded at something like financial exchanges, but they are not exactly financial exchanges. So, for example, a Russian ruble. Yes, indeed, it is traded at the Moscow exchange, as well as, so where is Indian rupee traded at NSE?
Russian, I don't think we have, but I'm not sure.
Okay, we can
Uh, there are
check.
other currencies which are exchanged like euros and dollars, but I'm not sure whether
Hmm.
Russian currency is exchanged
No,
or not.
I'm talking about for the Indian rupee. Is it also traded at NSE?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So what is the symbol, by the way? INR for the Indian rupee.
Yes.
Okay, so a ruble,
That's Indian
obviously.
National Rupee.
Is it correct?
Yeah. Yes, INR,
Yeah.
Indian National Rupee.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah.
But what happens is that the exchanges which we mentioned so far, they are primarily for equities. So all those are primarily for equities, although currencies are sometimes traded at them. So for example, at the Moscow exchange, yes, we do trade USD, ruble, euro, ruble. But for currencies, there are other electronic trading platforms, and it is important to know about them, which are called ECNs. ECNs, which is simply electronic communication networks. Originally, currencies were traded at interbank financial markets. So basically, traders from world leading financial banks like JP Morgan, Citi, UBS, name it, would call each other and do large volume uh, currency trades. For example, trading USD for Canadian dollars and so on. Then, and that was all by just voice communication, picking up telephone and negotiating the price over the telephone. And that continued for quite a while. And to some extent, this voice trading still happens. But over the past 10, 15 years, it was obviously largely supplemented by electronic trading platforms. And those are precisely called ECNs, as electronic communication networks. Now, technically, they look very much like exchanges, those exchanges which I mentioned so far, but legally, ECNs are not exchanges, just legally. Technically, with some exceptions, mostly they are exchanges. So, uh, maybe you have heard they are less well known than the exchanges listed on the right, but maybe you have heard about ECNs such as, for example, EBS, which is interestingly enough the largest currency exchange in the world. Well, ECN. Reuters matching. Well, a Reuters agency, I think everyone have heard about. But there is also an exchange with them, which is called Reuters matching. Another one from Reuters, which is called FX Fall. Exchanges like Hotspot FX, which has recently been, well, first it was acquired by Bats, and now it is a part of CBOT. Caranex, there are many others. So they are less well known because they do not appear in the news as frequently as regulated exchanges, but they're extremely, extremely important for currency trading because we are going to talk about trading cryptocurrencies. Then the platforms we are going to use are effectively also ECNs. And then there are other asset classes which I should mention for the sake of completeness. There are so-called interest rate products, for example, bonds or interest rate futures. Very importantly, there are commodities. And for example, CME is the largest commodity exchange, or at least one of the largest commodity exchanges in the world. There are some others, less well-known financial assets, uh, which I skip for this moment. But yes, number five is digital financial assets, and in particular, cryptocurrencies. For digital financial assets, we are going to talk about two largest, most liquid cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum. And there are some exchanges, effectively ECNs, where they are traded. So can you probably recall any crypto exchanges you know? Someone have definitely heard about some of them.
Binance.
Binance is definitely number one. Okay, Binance. What else? You probably have heard about BitMEX, Bitfinex, OKEX, Huobi, maybe some else. But for the moment, let's talk about this. These are very well known financial exchanges, which are, from the point of view of government regulation, financial exchanges, which I mentioned as financial exchanges, are the most heavily regulated and controlled by the governments. ECNs, because they do not have a legal status of exchange, they're a little bit less regulated. Although, for example, Hotspot FX is now part of a fully regulated CBOT. What about our crypto ECNs? So let them, for the sake of the argument, call crypto ECNs. Then those in the left-hand column, Binance, BitMEX, and so on, they're virtually unregulated, but nevertheless, they are considered to be reputable, good, reliable in general. So reputable and good means many, many, many things. So if, for example, you submit your cryptocurrency for trading and deposit it with any of these exchanges, then good reputation means that the exchange doesn't steal your money, or the exchange is not hacked and your money disappears anyway. So that's one good thing. Another good thing is that the trading mechanisms are reliable enough, so you do not get interruptions of data flow. You do not get, or at least if it happens, then it happens very, very seldom and not in mass. Uh, some manipulations of the market, uh, or other, I would say, glitches which could preclude you from trading at those exchanges. So they are unregulated, but are relatively, well, relatively reliable, reputable, good. Not all of them have been such good exchanges for all the time. OKEX, for example, started with a bit questionable reputation when it was founded. It is much better now, so it's significantly improved all the time. We can say it is trusted. Many professional cryptocurrency trading firms, they very extensively work with those big five financial exchanges. There are some others, but I'm not going to talk about that now. But there are still some mysterious things about those exchanges. So, for example, because these exchanges, so ECNs, are fully electronic ones, so they're electronic trading boards to which you can send orders over the internet from all over the world. Then the question is, okay, the server computers which really execute all those orders, where are they located? For example, for regulated exchanges, like for example, Moscow Exchange, MOEX, it is precisely known. Yet there is a data center in Moscow, obviously, very heavily guarded data center, where this Moscow Exchange kernel or matching engine is located. So everything is perfectly clear about that. But where, for example, the servers for all those exchanges are located, it remains to be, it is not a public information, but if you do a lot of research, then you can find out actually. So for example, BitMEX is located in Amazon Cloud Network in AWS. You have heard about Amazon cloud infrastructure. I'm absolutely sure you have, right? In Ireland, interestingly enough. Although the exchange itself is registered in Hong Kong. But the matching engine is in Ireland, in Amazon. But there are some other regulated exchanges, which will be in this list. So by regulated crypto exchanges, we mean primarily some US-based and European Union-based ones, like Kraken, um, Gemini, Coinbase, probably Polonix, and a European-based one, which is called Bitstamp. They are overseen and regulated by the European Union and US authorities, and as such, they are considered to be even more reliable than those unregulated exchanges. But the total traffic, the total liquidity of those unregulated exchanges um, uh, is much higher on the unregulated side rather than the regulated one. Also, the rules are always changing about the regulated exchanges. So for unregulated ones, it is typically completely okay for anyone to connect and to trade. We are not going to trade probably in this project, but we are going to get market data from them. Still we would need to connect to the exchanges and process this data. It is free for everyone. Whereas those exchanges on the right, they have more questions about you may need to be, or other way around, you can be prohibited to be, for example, a US citizen in order to connect to them. So these unregulated exchanges will be #1 priority for us to implement connectors to, and the regulated ones will be #2 priority. But ideally, if we have time, resources, and so on, although for 2 weeks it is a big challenge, then we could implement all of them, but definitely we would need to start from the left and implement connectors to those unregulated exchanges. Now, a very important point, how actually an exchange works. I will give you some introduction, and then maybe we'll have another technical session describing this in very detail, because I will have another meeting in about 30 minutes. But within these 30 minutes, we can cover as much technical detail as we probably need for the initial understanding. So what happens? The core, the heart of each exchange, how exchanges and ECNs work. There is a heart of each exchange, which is called matching engine. So why matching, why engine, we'll now see. Typically, there is a single matching engine, one matching engine per financial instrument. So suppose that our financial instrument is Bitcoin exchanged for USD, for example. It is always quoted like this. So like currency pairs are quoted, for example, USD, United States dollars, Russian to Russian ruble. Here we have BTC to USD. Typically, the order of quoting is the following. So the asset on the left is called asset A. In this case, it is BTC. The one on the right is called asset B. Asset A, if both of them are currencies or cryptocurrencies, it is also called base currency. I will use the standard abbreviation CCY, which stands for currency. By the way, there are some abbreviations we are going to use frequently. CCY is currency. PX, guess what is it? Is price, from the French prix. QTY, interestingly enough, is quantity. If anything else emerges, I will add it to the list. Okay. And asset B is called quote currency. When the prices are quoted at the exchange, it is always like how many units of asset B, so the price of an instrument which is A to B, is the number of units of B equal in value to 1 unit of asset A. Which means if we say price of USD ruble is now, for example, 79.00, it means 79 units of ruble are equivalent in value to 1 unit of USD. So basically $1 is equivalent to 79 rubles. That's how it is done. And the order of quoting, what is asset A and asset B, is typically, not always, but typically designed in such a way that this price of A to B should typically be greater than 1. So we really quote USD ruble, not ruble USD, because otherwise it would be less than 1 and it would be more difficult simply to write and to pronounce, simply for that reason. Obviously, BTC USD is nowadays significantly greater than 1, around 14,000. So for each instrument, and the instrument is in this case, for example, a pair BTC USD, another instrument would be Ethereum USD. For each instrument, there is a certain separate matching engine at the exchange. So what the matching engine does, it maintains a so-called auction for buying and selling asset A units. What does it mean? It means that it is organized. For the moment, I'm talking about only a logical organization, how it is to be implemented using our, let's say, favorite programming techniques, our favorite programming language. We are going to talk next time. So conceptually, it is the following. Inside the matching engine, the most important component is called order book. Order book. The order book consists of two sides. One side, which is called asks. In this case, ask is a kind of noun, not a verb. And the other side, which is called bids. Asks sometimes also called offers, but I would mostly use the term asks and bids. So what happens? At the ask side, there are orders to sell BTC. So someone has BTCs. They got Bitcoins from somewhere, somehow, sometime. And they would like to sell them and get dollars. So what they do? They place an order to sell Bitcoins. And these orders are arranged in the ascending queue with respect to the price. So, for example, someone has two BTCs, two Bitcoins, and would like to send them for exactly 14,000, for the sake of the example, for $14,000. Another person also came to the exchange. They do have only one Bitcoin, and they would also like and are ready to sell it for 14K USD. Then there are some other people who also want to sell Bitcoins, maybe even more. This person has, for example, one Bitcoin, but this person has even three of them, but they are not ready to sell for 14,000. They would like to get more. And at the exchange, typically, you can't tell an arbitrary price. I want it for $14,000 and 1 cent. There is typically a so-called price step. Here, for the sake of our example, let us say that the price step is $1. So suppose that the price step is $1. Not always. It can be significantly less than $1. Sometimes some exchanges even do not have a fixed price step, but that's rare. Here, for the sake of the example, let's say there is a certain price step. And they only agree to sell it for $14,001, and so on. So there are more and more and more people who want to sell Bitcoins, but at exceedingly and increasingly large prices. So the lowest price you can get at the exchange is 14,000 exactly. Okay, that's what happens on the ask side. On the bid side, this information is available in the book which I circulated, but to be honest, there are almost no books, although these things are relatively simple and in general not secret, but there are very few well-written and widely available books which describe the mechanics of financial trading. That's why the introduction I'm giving to you is to some extent important, because it is laying down the foundations of the whole technology we're going to use. So there are bits. Here, people place orders to buy Bitcoin. So I don't have Bitcoins, but I would like to get Bitcoins. And I am placing an order to buy, for example, 5 Bitcoins. And another person is placing an order to buy 7 Bitcoins. But we are only ready to pay $13,999 per Bitcoin and not 14K. That's the highest bid. So basically 14,000 is the lowest ask. That's the direction of price increasing. But this is the highest bid. Then some other people would like to buy more, maybe 10 and 20, but they would only be ready to pay still less, and so on. So that's how orders are coming into the exchange, and they are put into the order book. So for the moment, nothing else happens. People have registered their willingness to buy or sell at these prices, but we see the lowest price to sell is higher than, always higher than the highest price to buy in the order book. So between them, there is a gap, which is called bid ask gap. There is a bid ask gap. And when you consider an order book at each moment when it is stationary, then there is a non-empty bid ask gap in this particular case, which is $1. It could be more. It could be less if the price step is less than $1, but in general, it is greater than or equal one price step for any exchange. And so these orders are staying and staying and staying and standing in the queues, and nothing else happens. So at the moment, there are no trades, only orders. And at some point, either one of these people who already put orders to the exchange, or maybe someone completely new who didn't even put orders here, decides, okay, for example, someone says, I need to sell my Bitcoin immediately, really now. Why? Because I need to buy groceries, and groceries are not yet sold for Bitcoins. I need dollars in order to buy groceries, right? So I can't wait anymore. I need to sell now. Such a person is called an aggressor. It is a real financial term, aggressor. Or sometimes it is called taker, a taker. Okay? I prefer the term aggressor. So what he does, he crosses the bid-ask gap or bid-ask spread, another term. He crosses the bid-ask spread and says, okay, because I need to sell right now, I agree to sell at certain 999, not at 14K. So either he takes this, for example, Bitcoin, and lowered the price, crossing the spread, or it is a completely new person who doesn't even put an order into the order book and immediately submits an order, seeing that the highest bid is certain 999 and quoting this price at certain 999. Then a trade happens. So when the bid-ask spread is crossed, either by an aggressive seller this way, or by an aggressive buyer this way, then actually a trade occurs. A trade always occurs at a price of the corresponding passive order. So for example, you may even cross this spread and say, okay, I'm okay even, for example, when selling, to sell for certain 998. But if you sell only one, then your order is matched or crossed with just one Bitcoin at certain 999, and the trade occurs, and that's it. You are done. So then effectively you sold your Bitcoin for certain 999 aggressively. Or other way around, you go up with your price. You say, I need to buy now. I can't wait. Therefore, I'm increasing my price from certain 999. And now it's interesting. If, for example, you want to buy 5 units now, and you say, I agree to raise my price to 14K exactly, but at 14K, there are only 3 units. Therefore, you would get a trade for 3 Bitcoins and 2 more Bitcoins would be yet unfilled. So if you do that, by the way, so you raise your price to 14K trying to buy, then the order book is transformed. And actually, it is very important to understand what happens in that case, although we are not going to implement the order book, but it is very important to see the mechanics of how it happens. So then the level of 14K, so after this attempt to buying, let's say 5 BTC at 14K exactly. So what would happen? You can't buy 5 BTC at 14K because at 14K there are only 3 BTCs. So as a result, the following happens. The level of 14K1 is completely unaffected. So 1 and 3 are still at this level, 14,001. At the level 14K, these orders are completely eaten up. So you got trades for 3 BTCs, but then because you are trying to buy 5, 2 of the orders are unfilled. So now the bid-ask spread is here. So that's the spread. The lowest ask is now 14K. And at the bid side had moved to 14K exactly. And at the bid side, there are 2 unfilled orders to buy Bitcoins at 14K. They are not filled. And then there is a previous level of certain 999, which is unchanged, 5 and 7. And the yet previous one, 1020 at certain 998. So as a result of this aggression, what happened is that the spread, which was previously between certain 999 and 14,000, moved, and now the spread is between 14K and 1401. It is probably a good idea to maintain a so-called midpoint price, which is just the average between the lowest ask and the highest bid. So it used to be, in this case, before this trade, it used to be 13,999.5. But after this trade, when we consumed two or matched three Bitcoins at the price 14K and moved to the price of 14K to our unfilled buy orders. Now 14K is part of the bids, of the bid side, not ask side. So the midpoint moved to 14,000.5. So what happens? If by the current market price of Bitcoin, we mean precisely this midpoint price, and this is reasonable, what happened is precisely the Bitcoin price moved as a result of this trade. BTC price has moved. And that's precisely how it happens when we observe the market and we see the prices are moving and moving and moving. That happens precisely through this type of mechanism. So there is an aggression either coming from the bid side into the ask. It is called actually lift. We'll discuss this terminology later. Or the way around, which is called hit. So one level of the order book is completely eaten up, and as a result, the price may move into this direction, and the midpoint price changes. So then when we see, for example, a ticker for BTC USD somewhere in our web browser, then we see, aha, the price changes. That's how mechanically it changes. So what I propose to do, this whiteboard I will also send to our Telegram channel. I propose that we stop here for a moment, just think about this, formulate questions if anything is unclear about what we have discussed so far. I will be very happy to answer questions, and we may do either yet another session today or a session tomorrow morning to continue our discussion of the mechanics of exchange trading. And then we'll come to the actual task, what we need to implement in this project. Is it okay for everyone?
Uh, yes, Leo. This is Rakesh here. I see already one student left and the mentor left because of the connectivity issues. So as of now, I'm good with this session. And I also want to listen from the students if they are okay with the session.
Okay, so what I propose, we are done for the moment.
Yes.
I will post my whiteboard into our Telegram channel. Everyone is welcome to ask questions, and then please propose the convenient time for you to reconvene. It may be after either tonight, but in India it is already going toward the evening, or it could be Sunday morning, up to you. I would be available for this type of discussion, and we'll continue. But for the moment, let's stop, think, formulate the questions, dwell on this, meditate on this, and then we'll continue from that point on. Okay?
Sure, surely. Yeah, you can post this board in the Telegram channel, and most probably, I'm thinking of session tomorrow after the planned sessions. We already have a schedule. One is designing session, and we have one more breaking session, right? So if
But for the designing session, we still need, I think, to complete our technical discussion of trading, because then
okay,
without that, we wouldn't be able to understand precisely what needs to be designed. So I propose that we do a technical session before the design session.
got it. So let me just check the schedule and also the availability of the students before the
Okay,
design session.
okay, wonderful.
And yeah, so
It might even be later tonight after, for example, a few hours break if you want to.
yeah, sure. If you're available, then I'll also check the availability from the students and the
Please, so
mentor.
we can, for example, I don't know, make a break of, let's say, a few hours, let's say 3 or 4 hours, and then late in the evening reconvene. If it is
Probably we should ask
too
our
late, not
students
too late in the
about
evening.
their availability and their schedule.
Please check, okay?
Sure,
Dear
surely.
colleagues,
Wonderful.
dear colleagues,
And
students.
what I will also
Sorry, Leonid.
do, if there are no objections, our Zoom session is recorded. So I will put it somewhere as a private recording on YouTube and make it available for all our team, but not anyone else. Okay?
Yes, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great, and it would be needful for us. Sorry, it would be helpful for us.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for this session, Leo, and thank you all for attending the session. And it's a very learning experience from my end. And if students have anything to say, uh, anything related to the session or questions, they're most welcome. In case if there are any. Okay, so I'm taking it as everything is fine with them. Yeah, that's all. I think we can end this call for now, and I'll let you know the availability, Leo.
I got a request that, for example, students coming from the physics background, this is obviously this stuff is quite new to them. I will try to share as many published sources as possible, but for the moment, I would recommend reading chapter 2, Trading
Mhm.
101 of the book, which I have already shared on Telegram. Okay,
Sure, Leo. We will go through it. Yeah.
wonderful. Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Leo, and thanks everyone.
Thank you. If no more points to discuss, then we conclude now. Thank you.